Let's talk about The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I love this book. I had no idea what this book was about until I started to read it. And I think that's a great way to approach this book. I'm going to tell you what the themes are, and then you can decide if you want to read the book. But then I'll talk about the plot a little bit. The themes of this book is just all about not taking for granted what you have. It's all about regrets and having regrets in life, but also reframing those regrets as opportunities that could happen in the future. What happened in the past isn't always something that we're proud of, but we can always make better decisions in the present, in the future, to better our lives. Now, the plot of this is a woman named Nora. She is having a rough spot in her life. She is suicidal. One night, she does try to take her own life, but she finds herself in this library. It's this weird afterlife, in between the afterlife place where she is able to view all of her decisions that she made throughout her life and change those decisions and see what her life would be like without making those decisions. So she has a book of regrets. In that book are all the regrets in her life. She can then change her life by changing the decisions she made during those regrets and seeing if her life is better or not. And throughout this entire book, she is trying to figure out what life is the life that she loves the most. Now, it's pretty obvious what's going to happen, but it's a fabulous book, highly emotional, with a lot of philosophy and a lot of self-help type things. For some people, it could be a little bit too much, too emotional, a little bit too endearing, maybe on the verge of being irritating or annoying in that regard. But I absolutely loved it because I like books that talk about life events, making the right decisions, appreciating the life that you have, and just not having regrets in life, and just living life in the moment and not taking for granted what you have. I really appreciated that about this book, and I highly recommend it. This is one of the first 5-star books that I had this year. Hey everyone, we're talking about TJ Klune's Under the Whispering Door. I listened to this on audiobook and read it in the physical book as well. This is a cozy fantasy romance about a gentleman that dies and what happens after he dies. He is not a nice guy in his real life. He is a horrible lawyer. He treats people badly. But in his afterlife, as he is transitioning from death to wherever he is he's going to go, he is met by a reaper that takes him to a waiting place where there is a ferryman that helps him accept that he's dead and accept that later on he'll go to a place that no one really knows where it is, but the ferryman will help him get there. And it's a story about a guy that's just awful before he died, but is totally redeemable after he is dead. And he and the ferryman end up falling in love, and it's like a found family type thing. And it's just cozy. It's very nice. It's like a warm blanket. I like to call these type of books like Pixar fantasy, gay Pixar fantasy, especially with this, and with romance. And it's just a nice thing to read, and it's not anything serious. It's not supposed to be like this grand epic journey. It's all about emotional depth and connecting with characters. TJ writes these amazing scenes between characters where they really connect really deeply emotionally through dialogue and through just sharing their emotions with each other, their feelings, how they view life. Now, I did like the house in this Cerulean Sea more. I do think that is a better starting point with his books. If you liked that book, you'll probably like this book. If you did not like that book, you probably will not like this book. So that is my review of Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. Thanks. So this week I read probably 14 hours worth. I spent a lot of time with my family this week. Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. My father's birthday was this week, so I spent a lot of time with them. I can always read more books in the future, but I'm not always going to have my dad around. So, you have to spend time with the people that you care about. Even if you might not get a lot of reading done, you still should, spend time with your family, with the people you love, your friends. It's important. It really is important. I know a lot of times as a reader, especially somebody that's involved in BookTube or having a presence online as far as being a reader, you want to show that you somehow read more than other people. But the truth of the matter is that there's always going to be somebody that reads more than you, because people have varying responsibilities. They have more time. They might not sleep as much. They might read faster. They might not work as much. They might be retired. They might still be in school. But the really important thing to take away is that we're all readers. Regardless if you sit down for 20 minutes, a half hour, or if you read for 5 hours in a day, or if you're young and you can read for like 12 or 14 hours, that's great for you. But we are all readers, and the amount we read has nothing to do with our self-worth as a reader. The amount of books we own has nothing to do with who we are as a reader, our standing in the communities. How many books we read every year has really nothing to do with anything but ourselves. I know with me, I really have to try not to look at what everyone else is doing and try to match that and try to be like, oh, I can do that too. Because the truth is, I'm never going to be able to read as much as other people. If I finish one book in a week, I'm happy. And I should just be happy with that. This last week, I was able to finish 2 books, and that's fantastic. The important thing is that I enjoyed my time reading. I enjoyed the books that I read. I was able to use that time to relax, have fun, enjoying what I'm doing the thing that I love the most in the world to do, and that's reading. Yes, I am very fortunate that I got to spend 14 hours this last week reading, and I hope I'm able to read more next week. But even if I only read for an hour that entire week, it doesn't mean that I'm less than somebody that read 20 or 30. So I'll see you all next week. Hopefully I will have some more reviews for you. I know I'm starting to read things for the Hugo Awards. I'm reading the novellas, the Elliot de Bodard novella. I think it's like Fireheart something. And then the Becky Chambers novella, the Wild Built Robot, maybe, something like that. And then I'm moving into the novels. I'm going to reread Arkady Martine's the first book in her series, A Memory of Empire, and then read the sequel, which is A Desolation of Peace. And then I have P. Julie Clark, the Master of Jinn, yes. He just won the Nebula Award, actually. I have, the Light something. I forget that one. Maybe should have checked before I started. I have Shelley Parker Chan's book to read, and a few others that I have as well. So I'm looking forward to reading for the Hugos. I am really backed up with my short stories and novelettes and magazines that I usually read. So hopefully I can read the Hugo nominees and then read some short fiction for like an entire month. So that is all for me. I'll talk to you all next week.